Hi, this is Shelley Chapman of EatRelateLove.com, and you were tuned into the What She Ate series. And basically, this is just a monthly series where we highlight women who have revolutionized their relationship with food in exchange for a better body, better relationships, and a better life. And I am so excited to be interviewing Goddess Star Monroe in England. I found Goddess Star Monroe. I was doing a Google search on emotional eating and just sort of recovering from that. And she has a series coming up, and I believe it's October 13th. For Food and You.
Food, Eating, and You.
Yes, Food, Eating, and You. And I was like, oh, that's phenomenal. So of course I, spent some time on her website and contacted her and fell in love. She just has this beautiful aura about her, this beautiful glow. And when I found out her personal story, and you guys, I cannot wait till you hear about her personal story, I was like, you know what? This is somebody that I can rock with. This is somebody that I need to get to know because she's absolutely phenomenal. But enough about me introducing her. She's right here. Hi, Goddess. How are you? So, Goddess Star Monroe, I want to start with your name. I remember watching a video and you were talking about what's in a name. And that's actually one of the things that's always been very present to me in my life because my name is Shelley Chapman and I use it because it's my name, but I can't say that I'm necessarily happy about it. It just feels so plain. It doesn't really feel to represent me. And your name is Goddess Star Monroe, but I want you to sort of tell the story about how you came into that name and what it does for you.
Okay, so it's interesting because I'm just towards the end. I'm writing my second book, so I'm writing my memoirs, and I'm just steaming ahead to finish them. So in the last 3.5 years, that's the most dramatic changes I've ever done in my life. And 3.5 years ago, I stopped a 7-year addiction with cocaine and alcohol and abusing my body. And it's really interesting because I kept blog posts from that. So what I've been doing is, for the last 2 weeks, researching my blog posts and reading them, and they've actually made me feel quite upset and very emotional. It's been a really emotional time for me because on the flip side of me, I mean, I just stopped. I just had enough. I was ruining my life, and a light bulb went off for me, and I just said, that is enough.
Right.
But on the flip side of me changing my life, which was full of abuse, both personally and outwardly as well, I did 2 dramatic things. And one was to change my name, and the reason I changed my name was to mark the occasion. This was a momentous occasion for me, but plus also that throughout my life I've lived very fearlessly. I do things, I don't think about the consequences so much, which is probably why I've got in a lot of trouble in my life. But part of this changing my name was, fuck it, I've done this, I want to mark the occasion, and I really wanted to call myself Star. For some reason I just wanted one name, but when I went to the legalities of it in England, you had to have more than one name. So, and I was running the Goddess School of Pole Dancing at the time. I believe that every woman is a goddess, and she needs to tap that in. Yeah. So, and then I was talking to another lady about Marilyn Monroe, and it just all came together at the same time. So Goddess Star Monroe was born, and that was 3.5 years ago. And it's interesting because even up until last year, I still struggled owning that name. It's a powerful name.
Wow, yeah.
It's a powerful name, and it means, and for me, it means I've got to step in to who I really am and own it. And it was, I got my passport back last year with Goddess Star Monroe written on it, and that was it for me. I am Goddess Star Monroe.
It's so exciting. And what you just said is powerful. When you become the name, you have to own it. You have to step into it. And I think we don't understand that enough because we spend our life answering to our name. So if there's a name that you have and it doesn't serve you and you're constantly saying yes to it, someone called yes, then you're always reaffirming that. So that's so beautiful to take that power back and just say, you know what? This is who I am. This is what I represent, and you can call me that anytime. So one of the things that was also really beautiful for me is that you talked about your addiction for 7 years, right, to cocaine and also to alcohol. How did you manage to just turn around and become who you are now?
I was just so was just so unhappy, and it's good. You've come at the right time because I've been writing my memoirs. So, and I think that for me, my past was my past, and I've always just accepted that was my past. Now I have the power to change my present and change my future. Yes. But by going over and writing my memoirs, I've really had to connect some dots. Yeah. And basically, I never really liked myself. Never loved myself. My self-worth was low, and I'm very addictive. I know that about me. I'm very addictive, very obsessive compulsive. That's my trait. And I just kind of got swept along with this. And really, there was a couple of things that I knew, even in the midst of me doing cocaine, and I was doing it every single day. I used to wake up and do it, go to bed doing it. Used to wake up drinking, used to go to bed drinking. Bear in mind, I used to run my company too, but I always knew that when the time was right, that I would stop. I had that great belief. There was something bigger in me than any obstacle that I was facing. Yeah. But it was a combination of things that I split up with a boyfriend at the time, and I was terribly in love with him. And I ended up on the hotel floor up the road because I ran out of alcohol in my house. So I laid on the floor in this hotel, crying my eyes out all night, came back home, carried on drinking, and I just thought at that point, I went, this is enough. Then I got ill, I got an infection, and within 2 weeks, I just said, enough is enough. I can no longer destroy myself. I have a small son, I have a small child, I really have to sort my life out. And within 2 weeks, I knew if I stopped drinking, I would stop the drugs, and I did.
Wow.
I did.
That is such a powerful story. My God. And I'm not sure if it was at the same time or before you were also dealing with several eating disorders.
Again, it's interesting looking back because I think throughout the drink and the drugs period, which I'm going to say was in its height in my I'm 40 now. So, and I've been 3 years clean of drugs, 3.5 years clean of drugs. Yeah, thank you very much. The eating disorders, so I was anorexic when I was a teenager, and then bulimic, then obsessive compulsive. I used to eat everything, but that got replaced when I was doing the drugs. I didn't need to because I used drugs as a way of keeping slim. And not only did I do cocaine, I did speed, and then I did MDMA. So I used drugs. I knew if I did the drugs, I wouldn't have to eat. Right. So that was my way of keeping slim. And ever since I was 14 and I read, it was the Vogue Bible, right, that told me when I was 14 that when you stand up, you have to have 3 gaps in between your legs. And when you lay down, you have to put a ruler across your hips and they should touch each hip bone. That is that's taken me through my life, that skinny is the rule. Wow. And if I'm anything but skinny, I was not worthy. I wasn't a woman. So the drink and the drugs took over. But after I stopped doing the drink and drugs, I then went into bodybuilding. So it's bizarre what I did, because then I spent the next year and a half competing. I was a competitive figure athlete. So completely wrapped up in diet, which then triggered all my binging and purging again.
Right. Wow. That's such a story. And I'm so glad that you touch on the idea that we feel like we have to look a certain way. And so we develop these behaviors to suit that. So for everyone, it may not necessarily be an eating disorder per se, but there's something that women place in their lives that ensures their skinniness or their desirability or their, their ability to just look the way they're supposed to, quote unquote, look. So as a result of coming out of this, you have created, How to Be a Woman, essentially this sort of like womanly arts university. Can you talk about that? Like how you came into this very feminine flow and surrendering to your womanhood?
I knew at the point of me giving up the drink and drugs that there was something bigger out there for me, that I am here to serve something bigger. And I haven't gone through everything I've gone through. There is so much more. I've just touched on the tip of the iceberg, but I haven't gone through any of this for nothing. I've gone here, and honestly, I can say hand on my heart that I want the best for women. I don't want to try and sell them something. I don't want to say this diet, or you need to wear this, or you need to do this. I really want the best for women, and I feel that I have real life experience experiences, plus 20 years experience working with women, because I've always worked with women. And that's how I evolved how to be a woman. And it's a challenge for me to say what how to be a woman is, but in a nutshell, because I do so much, because I have so much experience. But everything I offer, from my talks, my workshops, from retreats, from my soirees, my clubs, my Academy of Womanly Arts, it's all there to make a woman feel good about herself, because there is so many things out in this world telling a woman she's not good enough, that she's not worthy, that she has to change something. And I'm not saying, what I'm saying is that you have to kind of accept what you've got in front of you,
right,
but do the best you can with it too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And one of the quotes that you say is, I'm learning to, I don't want to mess it up, I'm learning to look after myself one goddess step at a time.
Yeah.
Love that quote. I thought it was so juicy. I was like, yes, that is it. Like, I would have that tattooed on my body if I had tattoos. Like, that's just such a beautiful quote. So what other advice would you give to women who are still finding their way? I mean, you know, some women have to go through a lot of trials and tribulations before they come into their femininity, and some don't. You know, for some it's like, you know what, I'm actually here. But for those who are still just sort of figuring out their way, and especially in a society where femininity or being a woman isn't always celebrated as much as being masculine or being a man, and so still trying to fit in, like where you are, even when we talk about bodies, you know, this idea of having a prepubescent, very small, little boy lookalike body is what's celebrated for women in the industry. But we're women. We have curves, you know, we're soft, we're supple. So so what other advice do you give for women who are still trying to figure it out?
I think the most important thing, and I was teaching a group last night, I was teaching pole dancing last night, and I call them my babies. These are my baby group, you know, and they haven't had much time around me, but I stopped the class halfway through, and so, because someone said, am I not meant to be doing this? And I'm not meant to be able, should I not be able to do this? And I just said, look, if I cannot express anything more important, is the fact that you each in this room are individually unique, and you're going to have your own likes and dislikes and your own pros and your own cons, and your job in life is to kind of accept that and start to learn who you really are, and not to fall into the trap that there is one size to fit all out there, but honor that I am me, and I'm going to step into my own power and find out what rocks my world. That's what I want women to do, and I can help them on the path with that.
Right. So speaking of helping women on the path with that, you have this program called I Can Read Your Body.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds phenomenal. I remember when I read the description, I was like, oh, that sounds like the type of work that I just love, that sort of intuitive goddess, just feminine divine knowing of, listen, this is what's going on.
It's I've been working in Pilates for about 12 years, and if I'm honest with you, it's been a love-hate relationship. But what I've loved about it is the fact that I intuitively know what's going on in a woman's body, and she only has to stand in front of me, and I know exactly how to realign her. Within 5 minutes, I can make any woman look fabulous. I'm not saying that she's going to keep that, but what I'm good at is I'm good at teaching it so they can then take it on board, because no one has got the magic cure. No one's got the magic answer. Right. You can teach people, but they've got to want to take it on board themselves and really look after themselves.
Yes.
But it's interesting that as soon as I start to work with a woman's body, I can just tell where she's holding all her shit, where her emotions are, what's bound up. We're a bunch of spirals, and it's just like, women are complex creatures, and it just needs someone who's compassionate, who cares to unwind these spirals with her, and that's what Read Your Body is all about.
I'm curious, out of most of the women that you work with, where do you find most women carry their shit?
Pelvis.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was the same, because I find the same thing in the womb.
It's pelvis. It's like, I call it the mother load, the mothership, right? It's like our mothership, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
We need to take care, but I've been teaching exotic dance, sensual dance for 10 years.
Yeah.
And the act of just undulating and moving your pelvis comes naturally to me, but when you ask women to do it, they don't know how to do it. And I'm
You're
like,
right.
oh my God.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And it's like essential. And the thing is with me is I'm all over women, so I don't mind. I touch them all over. You know, I don't like moving them, and it's like, you've got to understand this is your femininity right here. You've got to use it.
Exactly.
And the power that comes from your pelvis.
Yes.
And also I know as well, when I get bound up in my masculine and I get too rigid and too kind of like, oh, you know, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, my pelvis locks up. My pelvis and my hip flexors lock up myself. Yes. So I know what happens.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I call it the womb moon power. That's where all that energy is, for sure. Jill Scott actually has this song out called Rolling Hills, and she's just talking about the power in between. Jill Scott, Rolling Hills, YouTube it. And she's talking about the power there. I'm sure that would go lovely in one of the pole dancing classes too.
Definitely.
But yeah, she talks about that a lot. But I wanted the callers, the listeners to hear that, because a lot of women carry their trauma and their stress and their baggage and their shit in their womb and their pelvis, like as you're saying. And imagine when you're in a bedroom and you're with your partner, you cannot free up. You cannot orgasm. You cannot experience.
And the thing is, even last night, Shelley, is that a girl came up to me and she said, my back is hurting. Why is my back hurting? Is it pole dancing? And I said, no, darling, it's not pole. And she said, but when I'm having sex and I'm arching, it's really hard. I'm like, you're not using your pelvis correctly. You know, you need to be able to undulate and move. And it's just, we underestimate the power of our bodies.
Yes. Absolutely. Especially our feminine bodies, for sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
Oh, I'm so excited. This is why I have you on the call. This is why you're part of the What She Ate series. So, what can people expect from you coming up? I know you say working on your memoir, and we talked about you have your soirees coming. So give us some dates, and even for the people who are stateside who would love to get a taste of Goddess Star Monroe in person, what's up?
It's fine. I mean, I'm doing 2 evening soirees, and they're back in England, but I'm going to audio record them, and then I'm going to put them up onto my site, so they're going to be available.
Sweet.
So that's the least I can do, because, you know, one of my true mentors, she puts a lot of stuff out there, and she says that there's a lot of people that can't get to her, and I'm all about helping, and if there's something that I can give out and you can listen and you're in the States, then I'm more than happy to do it. So I'm doing one on food, eating, and you change your relationship with food forever. So that's coming up. And then body image in you, I'm revealing my secrets to a true, sexy, confident body. So they're coming up, and what I'm working on as well in the background, and it will probably be a year in its entirety coming, but I'm working on my second book, which is going to be part memoirs, part case studies, and part my philosophy of life. I really feel that this is going to transform. I see it as a Bible for women everywhere, and I'm going to bring it back to when I was 14 and I read the Vogue Bible. I don't want 14-year-olds reading the Vogue Bible. I want them to read my Bible.
Yes.
No, they are like, they're all, you don't need anything else, darling. You've got everything.
Yes.
And then also I have a book out on Amazon, it's on .com and .co.uk, my Pole Essentials. So if anyone's interested in pole dancing.
What is it called?
Pole Essentials.
Oh, for pole dancing. Awesome.
Yeah,
okay.
Pole dancing. Yeah,
all right.
Definitely.
Sweet. And then how can people just connect with you in general if they want to tweet you, Facebook you? What's the best way?
They tweet me on Star Monroe. I'm big on Facebook, and they're going to find me under Star Monroe on Facebook. And my website is www.goddessstarmonroe.com, and that's got 3 S's in there. And there's a form on there, and if you've got any questions, anything, then I'm more than happy just to enter into a dialogue and help you out as much as I can. I have mentoring programs as well that I do via Skype and in person. But if it's a quick question and I can help you, then I'm more than happy to do that. I'm more than happy.
Thank you so much. And Goddess Star Monroe, are there any parting words of wisdom that you want to bless Eat, Relate, Love viewers with?
Just knowing that you're enough. You're enough. That you have so much, I want to say, glitter and sparkle and power inside you that when you, it's all there. It's just all there all the time, and it's just waiting to be let out. And my mantra right now is to be fearless in everything I do, and I wish that for every woman I come across, just to be fearless. Who cares if you fuck up? Who gives a shit?
Right.
Just get out there and do it, and just have fun.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Mwah. Much love to you from Eat, Relate, Love in the U.S., and I am so excited to have you on the What She Ate series, and I look forward to possibly working with you in the future and definitely meeting you in person sometime.
Thank you very much, Shelley. Thank you. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Yes. Take care, love.
Thank you. Bye-bye.